When a superhero saves someone, is because he enjoys, not that he enjoys the feeling of saving the person, because if he enjoys the feeling of saving the person, then it seems like he's doing it for himself and his joy rather than so the person can live. But it's more about the person. Like when a hero saves someone, he cares more about the person than his joy of doing it. Of course, he loves saving people, but he does it for the safety of the other person. So if you think about it, then in a way, I'm kind of like a superhero. It does kind of make sense. Me being kind of like a superhero, it kind of does make sense because I like to make people laugh. I genuinely enjoy making people laugh or trying to make people laugh. I sometimes I try too hard to be funny, but it's because I want to be funny so bad. That's why I try too hard to be funny. That's why I try at all to be funny, because I want to seem funny to people, and I feel like being funny is like, I don't know. It's just like it's not really like a cheat code, but it's more of like an unforgettable feature, and I want to have that. So I do what I can to be funny. It's not that, of course I think, well, I don't think I'm funny. I laugh at myself, but when other people are laughing too. And I'm thinking of it in a way because I do things most people wouldn't do to try to make people laugh. I'm embarrassing myself. I'm actually putting myself out there on the spot, trying to make you laugh. I'm trying to be a hero. I'm your hero for making you laugh. And yeah. So I'm kind of like invincible, but like, for streamers and comedians and stuff. Basically, that's me. I'm the prophet. I'm the Messiah. They secured a line for me. And I'm also kind of like Omni Man. I kind of think of myself as Omni Man because like Omni Man, he had a past. If you haven't watched Invincible, Omni Man leaves, or he does something really bad on Earth and then leaves and thinks about what he did. And at first he didn't think he was doing wrong. He thought it was the right thing to do. And in his mind, it was the right thing to do. Then he leaves Earth and takes some time to consider, and he's all depressed and he wants to kill himself and everything. And he has like a renaissance like of his life. Like he has like a rebirth of himself, but it was the self that he was living before he became his old self. So he was his old self, and then he had a new life, and then he became his old self again, and then wanted to go back to the new life because he missed it so much. And he basically, well, yeah, he just comes to his senses, and he tries to apologize, and does everything he can. Spends the rest of his life trying to, you know, repent his sins, I guess, or like to have people forgive him for what he did, and make it not like he doesn't want to seem like a bad person to people, and no one wants to seem like a bad person to anyone. That's what makes him a person. That's what was making him a person. And I have a past. Everyone has a past. I think mine takes the cake, definitely, but I try, like, oh my god, bro, I'm gonna sound like a cringe chud. Fuck, bro. Oh, sign me up for Disney, bro. I realized the kind of person I was back then. Or like I feel like everyone thinks they were a worse person back then because you're always constantly trying to be better, but dude, this is a different story. Everyone always tries to constantly be better, so you're always better off in 5 years than you were 5 years ago. That's for everyone, right? I'm not saying that that's just me. I'm just saying that this is just one of those cases, especially. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I know a lot of people who don't like me, but thankfully I know a lot of people who do like me. That's, what like keeps me on edge, That's what keeps me on my tinkle toes. And I recognize mistakes I've made in the past. Like I was just I was just not a nice person to a lot of people I knew and a lot of people I loved and a lot of people that I actually care for, that I did care for. But I wanted something to be a certain way. So I forced another situation upon the situation to make the situation the way I wanted it to be. And, that's causing me some trouble, man. A lot of people don't like me for that. For things that I've said or done. I've said a lot of rough things. All right, I've smacked the hard R before. Me and my friends would joke about children, bro. It's like there's definitely something wrong with, or was some there definitely was something wrong with me, or is something wrong with me. There At some point in my life there was something wrong with me, and it drove me into like into crazy like situations. I feel like all my life I've been in one crazy situation or another, whether it was with my friends or my family or myself or just people around me in general. I just felt like I've always been a force. Like when my name is mentioned, just like, this guy, the guy who makes those videos, that guy. Great. Great. I feel it's bro, I'm a grown man making YouTube videos, bro. And I want to and this is how I plan to source my income. Like, back to the point. I recognize things I've done in the past, and I try every day to be a better person, to pay back what I've done. Or I think that's what I'm trying to say. Every action of mine is influenced by a past decision or a past, consequence or something like that. I start to think more before I say things, or think more before I do things. And that's not even the point. The point is that the bad things I've done in the past. Oh yeah, I've ripped the heart out, man. And I I I was very mean to a lot of people who genuinely cared for me, not even that I cared for, that genuinely just cared for me. And I regret it every day, not reciprocating that, or reciprocating, is that the right term? Not paying that back, to whomever it may be. It's been that way with friends, it's been that way with family, and it's been that way with myself. And I don't know, I recognize it, and I hope people know that whenever I do seem like an asshole to them or seem like a jerk to them, I think about it later, and I genuinely think, why was I so mad? Because I'm not the type to get mad. It's pretty hard to make me mad now. I used to get really mad as a kid. Like, I would fucking cry and scream about everything. I had like bad, like, I didn't have anger issues as a kid. Like, I wouldn't like get mad all the time, but when I would get mad, I would like cry really hard. I think that's everyone though. That's not everyone. Am I weird for that? Who else cries when they get mad? If you get mad, like, it amazes me how people like can get angry and like be passive aggressive, or like try to make it into like a funny joke. Like, bro, when I get mad, if I get mad, oh my god, bro, tears are gonna start forming before you can say anything else, bro. Before you can say anything else to piss me off, I'm just gonna start boiling tears up, bro. And I'm just be like, and you get that weird like choking feeling inside of your throat when you're trying to like hold back a cry. But I would get like that with people, and I hope people know I genuinely notice that, and I do reflect off of it and begin to regret how I reacted in moments, in arguments, or in certain situations where I shouldn't have reacted that way. And I hope every one of those people, friends that have fallen off with me or anything like that, I hope every one of those people know, I hope they know that I apologize, and I try every day to be better. Like Omni Man, I'm kind of like a superhero. That's why I try to make you laugh now. That's why I try to make people laugh now. Bro, when I'm working every single day, at least one person. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but to me that is, because I really appreciate it. At least one person. So how's streaming going? Did you see Kai Cenat? Bro, are you the one that makes the videos? Dude, I've seen you on TikTok. I know some people like maybe making fun of me, and some people may actually like be like kind of not fans, but like they're, they're supportive no matter what, whether they're hating or they're not hating, or they're making fun of me or not making fun of me, or on my team. I genuinely appreciate it, because I'm starting to feel noticed. You know, I think that's why I think that's why I enjoyed theater so much as a kid, or growing up in middle school and then doing it all throughout high school, is because I'm an attention seeker. Oh my god, bro. I'm an attention seeker, but that's the truth, and that's what like drives me to theater. Like that's my whole niche. That's my gimmick. That's what I'm supposed to do for this. That's what I'm supposed to do in theater when I act or when I'm doing this. I'm supposed to grab your attention. I'm supposed to want your attention. I'm supposed to keep your attention on me, because I'm trying to be entertaining. That's supposed to be my niche. And not niche, but like that's supposed to be the job. That's the point of this. So I had to be an attention seeker to succeed at this. The more you know. I'm telling you, it's that this is probably why all the bad people in life always end up like sometimes successful. Like, like fucking Epstein and Donald Trump and shit. That's probably why, because the the rules are built for bad personalities, you know? It's like every billionaire just ends up liking kids. But like that's why people like end up getting canceled and stuff like that, like when they get older, like when celebrities who are young get older, they start to like become rude and stuff like that. And it's because, they're just sick of it already. And what was I trying to say before? Oh my god, I completely just brain farted and just forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I'm an attention seeker. I had to do that to do this. Oh, they're attention seekers. That's what I was trying to say. Bad people stuff. Okay, yeah, that's probably why they end up being rude at the end and stuff, because they're not trying to put on the facade anymore. They're not trying to put on the image anymore that they're, something funny, something that's supposed to entertain you, that's meant to be there to entertain you. That's all like a celebrity or an actress or a musician is. Their point of being there is to bring you music and bring you joy, give you that feeling of whether their work makes you feel nostalgic, or whether their work makes you feel excited, or whether their work makes you feel, sad or angry. They make you feel feelings, and that's what they're there for. And if it wasn't for what their gimmick is, which could be music or movies or streaming or anything, if they didn't do that, they wouldn't really matter to you. So the social construction of society is to keep the bad people on top, the people with personalities who try to put on a facade because they know it's going to entertain you, when really they're a bad person inside. I just cracked the code. Back to my whole spiel about being a superhero. I just try to make people laugh now. And I genuinely appreciate it when people come up to me and say, dude, I actually watch your videos. Or even when people come up to me and like, bro, do you make those videos? And I'm like, yeah, man, that's me. And they're like, why? Because I like it, man. Because I like it. This makes me laugh. But it's just a bonus if it also makes you laugh. If I'm making you laugh, I'm succeeding and I'm happy. And you're happy because you're laughing. So it's just reciprocating. I'm like making that connection across the camera. And that's why I'm so interested in streaming and things like that, and making videos, because I genuinely would like to feel that connection between the camera. I don't know. I'm kind of like Omni Man. I'm telling you, I'm kind of like a superhero. I just want to make you laugh. It makes me happy to see you laugh, but I don't make you laugh because I feel happy when I make you laugh. I make you laugh because I'm making you laugh and you're laughing, so you're happy. Call me Invincible. I guess you could call me a superhero tits. All right. I'm going to go now. Thank you for watching.